Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive with us. Today, um, today we're going to be talking about something that I think we can all relate to, and that's the challenge of making friends as adults.
It really is.
Right. You think like, oh, we should be grown-ups by now. This
Right.
should be easy. But it's like, it's not. It's actually harder.
Yeah, it's way harder.
And so we're going to be taking a deep dive into a research report that we found that had a surprisingly playful tone, I thought,
Yeah.
given the subject matter. But it really digs into why adult friendships are so tricky
Uh,
and thankfully offers some like pretty practical advice.
it does.
Uh,
Yeah, a lot of us struggle with this, and this report doesn't shy away from the humor and like how awkward it can be,
Yeah.
but it also digs deeper, exploring some of the underlying societal and psychological factors.
Yeah. So the report kicks off by highlighting a few key reasons why adulting just seems to sabotage our friend-making abilities.
Totally.
And one of the things that it mentions is this fear of rejection, which, let's be honest,
Yeah,
we probably haven't outgrown since like those awkward playground days.
absolutely. The report actually links this fear of rejection to like the rise of individualism in our culture.
Oh,
We're constantly bombarded with these messages about self-sufficiency
yeah.
and independence, and it can make vulnerability, which is so essential for deep connection,
Right.
feel like a weakness.
Yeah.
It's almost like we're programmed to compete, not connect.
That's such an interesting point. I had never thought about it that way. It's like we're all trying to project this image of having it all together,
Yeah,
which leaves little room for like genuine connection.
exactly. And then on top of that, we're all constantly juggling work and family and just like all the demands of adult life. So
Life.
friendships often end up at the bottom of the priority list.
Oh, for sure. And the report is full of these relatable analogies.
Yes.
Like it compares trying to make time for friends amidst the chaos of adult life to trying to learn a new dance while simultaneously fighting off a swarm of bees.
Yeah, it's a funny image, but it speaks to a very real struggle.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, prioritizing friendships is about so much more than just like having people to hang out with.
Okay.
The report really emphasizes that strong social connections have profound benefits, not just for our emotional well-being,
Right.
but for our physical health and even longevity.
So it's not just about having a good time. It's actually good for us on a deeper level.
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
The report actually goes into some pretty fascinating research
Okay.
and compares having friends to like a mental crossword puzzle, but with more laughter.
Yeah.
So it really piqued my interest when I read that.
Well, and the science backs it up.
Okay.
That playful analogy studies have shown that strong social connections can actually reduce stress hormones like cortisol, which we know has a cascading effect on everything from sleep quality to immune function.
Wow.
Some research even suggests that friendships can protect against cognitive decline as we age.
So friendships are like a superpower.
They really are.
For our brains and our bodies, that's incredible.
Yeah.
I knew connection was important.
Yeah.
I had no idea it was that powerful.
Powerful stuff.
Okay, so we've established that friendships are crucial for a happy and healthy life.
Yes.
But for those of us who struggle with this whole friend-making thing,
Right.
the report thankfully offers some really helpful advice.
Yes.
They call them friend-finding hacks.
Love it.
So where do we even begin?
Well, the first one might sound a little cliche,
Okay.
but it's surprisingly profound to embrace your inner weirdo.
Okay. I have to admit, when I first read that, I kind of rolled my eyes a little.
I get it.
Like, okay,
It does sound a bit overused.
yeah, it does sound a bit overused, but how do we actually do that?
Right.
How do we embrace our inner weirdo
Yeah.
in a way that feels genuine and not forced?
That's a great question, and I think it comes down to letting go of the need to be perfect or fit a certain mold.
Oh.
It's about allowing yourself to be seen for who you truly are, quirks and all. And honestly, that vulnerability can be incredibly magnetic.
Okay.
When you're comfortable with your own individuality,
Yeah.
it gives other people permission to do the same.
Right.
And that's where that true connection begins.
So it's not about trying to be weird for the sake of being different.
No.
It's about owning what makes you unique and letting that shine through.
Exactly.
I like that it feels much more authentic.
It's about being unapologetically yourself, and that authenticity attracts like-minded people who appreciate you for who you are, not who you pretend to be.
I am ready to ditch the mask.
Good.
Where does the report say to go from here?
Another powerful hack the report suggests is to be the friend you wish you had.
Okay.
Think about the qualities that you admire in your friends.
Uh,
Are you embodying those qualities in your own interactions?
oh, that's a good point. It's not just about finding the right people.
Right.
It's about being the kind of person who attracts those people.
Exactly. It's about shifting the focus from what you can get from a friendship to what you can give.
Right.
And that's not to say it's all about self-sacrifice.
Right.
It's about showing up authentically and being the kind of friend that you'd want to have in your own life.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So we're ditching the masks. We're being our authentic selves, and we're showing up as the kind of friend that we want to have.
Yeah.
What's next?
Well, this next one might seem a little daunting for some people,
Okay.
but it's crucial. Take initiative.
Oh, boy.
The report urges us to ditch the waiting game
Right.
and actively put ourselves out there.
This is where I get a little anxious.
I know.
But the report makes a good point. Like, somebody's got to make the first move.
Exactly. And it's just like diving into a cold pool.
Oh, yeah.
The anticipation is often way worse than the actual experience.
Totally.
So think of it like this. Every new interaction is a potential seed
Yeah.
for a meaningful connection.
Yeah.
Join that club, attend that event, strike up a conversation with the person next to you in line at the coffee shop.
Right.
The more you put yourself out there, the more opportunities you create for those seeds to grow.
So it's about being intentional and creating those opportunities for connection.
Absolutely.
I can see how that can feel uncomfortable, especially if you're like naturally introverted.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to see how those small acts of courage can lead to like big rewards.
They really can.
Okay.
And remember, you don't have to be the life of the party.
Yeah.
To make meaningful connections,
Oh.
sometimes a simple smile or a genuine question can be enough to spark a conversation.
Yeah, this is all starting to make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I'm also realizing how much effort is involved in this.
Yeah.
In building friendships, it's not just going to like magically happen.
It takes work.
Right. There's a real commitment involved.
You're absolutely right. And the report actually addresses this head on with its next hack.
Okay.
Be patient.
Okay.
It compares building friendships to nurturing a garden.
Uh-huh.
It takes time, consistent effort, and the right conditions to flourish.
That's a great analogy.
It is.
I can definitely see the parallels. We wouldn't expect a garden to grow overnight. And we can't expect instant friendships either. It takes time to cultivate those connections.
Exactly. The report emphasizes that patience isn't about passively waiting for friendships to happen. It's about actively engaging, showing up consistently, and allowing those bonds to deepen organically over time.
So it's about being present in those interactions, nurturing those connections, and just trusting the process. I think the report really nailed it with that gardening metaphor.
This is a good reminder that building meaningful relationships is a journey, not a destination. And just like a garden, friendships need tending. Sometimes that means weeding out toxic relationships to make space for healthy ones to grow.
Well, that's a really interesting point. This report doesn't explicitly mention this, but it makes sense that our environment plays a role in our ability to form healthy friendships.
Absolutely. If you're constantly surrounded by negativity or people who drain your energy, it's going to be much harder to cultivate those positive connections.
So part of this whole friend-finding journey might also involve creating a more supportive environment for ourselves, whether that's joining groups with shared interests, seeking out mentors, or even setting boundaries with people who bring us down.
Exactly. It's about being intentional with the energy you surround yourself with, both in terms of the people you spend time with and the activities you engage in.
This is making me realize that a lot of these friend-finding hacks actually apply to strengthening existing friendships, too. It's not just about finding new friends, it's about deepening the connections we already have.
You're absolutely right. Those principles of vulnerability, being supportive, and showing up consistently, those are all essential for maintaining healthy relationships, whether they're new or decades old.
It's like giving those relationships the same care and attention we give to other important areas of our lives. Like, we wouldn't expect our plants to thrive without water and sunlight, right?
Right.
Well, friendships need nurturing, too.
They do. And just like plants, friendships can blossom and grow in unexpected ways when we give them the right conditions.
You know, as we're talking about this, I'm remembering something the report mentioned at the very beginning. The idea of the adult friendship famine being like a common experience.
Yeah.
And I think it's so important to acknowledge this because it can feel really isolating when you're struggling to make friends as an adult.
Absolutely. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking there's something wrong with you if you're not effortlessly building a huge social circle.
Right.
But the truth is, many adults face these same challenges even if they're not talking about it openly.
So if you're listening to this and feeling that sense of isolation, please know that you're not alone. It's not about being bad at making friends. It's about understanding the unique challenges of adult life and having the tools to navigate them.
And remember, the report emphasizes that putting yourself out there is key, even if it feels awkward or uncomfortable. At first, taking those small steps to connect with others can lead to truly rewarding relationships.
The report ends with a really encouraging message. It says, don't be afraid to put yourself out there. The worst that can happen is someone says no. And hey, you've already mastered that skill, remember?
Yeah.
But the best that can happen is you find your tribe, those people who make life more fun, more meaningful, and a whole lot less lonely.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
It's a reminder that building meaningful connections takes effort, but the rewards are immeasurable.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's time for us to wrap up this deep dive into the adult friendship famine.
Yeah.
What are some key takeaways you hope our listener is walking away with today?
I think the biggest takeaway is that building and maintaining strong friendships is an ongoing process, not a destination. It's about embracing vulnerability, showing up authentically, and nurturing those connections over time.
And remember, you don't have to do it all at once.
Mm-hmm.
Start small, be consistent, and celebrate those small wins along the way.
And most importantly, be kind to yourself.
Yes.
Building friendships takes time and effort, and it's okay to stumble along the way. We're all figuring this out together.
Well said. So that wraps up this episode of The Deep Dive. As always, thanks for joining us on this journey of knowledge and discovery. Now, for a final thought from the expert to ponder as you go about your week.
You know, as insightful as this report is, it got me thinking about something it didn't really address, like, what role does our digital world play in all of this?
Oh, that's so
We're
interesting.
constantly connected online, right?
Right.
But does that actually translate to deeper, more meaningful relationships in real life?
That's a great question. I mean, on the one hand, technology allows us to connect with people we might never have met otherwise.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I can definitely see how it also creates this illusion of connection
Right.
without the real substance.
Yeah.
It's like we're surrounded by people, yet somehow still feel incredibly lonely.
It's almost like a paradox.
Yeah.
We have more ways to connect than ever before, yet so many of us are experiencing this friendship famine.
Right.
So, as you navigate your own friend-finding journey, I encourage you to consider this. How can you use technology to actually enhance your real-life connections rather than replace them?
That's a powerful challenge.
Yeah.
I think it comes down to being mindful of how we're using technology.
Yeah.
Are we using it to build genuine connections, or are we just scrolling and liking and passively consuming content?
Right.
It's so easy to get caught up in the digital world and forget to nurture those real-life relationships that truly matter.
It's about finding that balance between the digital and the real, and being intentional about using technology as a tool to foster those genuine face-to-face interactions.
This has been such an insightful conversation before we sign off. I wanted to circle back to something that really resonated with me from the report.
Okay.
That analogy of assembling furniture with instructions in Swedish
Oh, yeah.
perfectly captures that feeling of awkwardness and confusion
Uh-huh.
that can come with trying to navigate adult friendships.
Yeah, that one really stood out.
It highlights that sense of feeling lost and unsure of ourselves.
Yes.
Like we're somehow doing it wrong.
Like we're messing it up.
Right. And it made me think about how we often put so much pressure on ourselves to be good at making friends.
Yes.
Like it's some kind of skill you either have or you don't.
Right. But what if we reframe that perspective a little bit?
Okay.
What if instead of focusing on being good at it, we focused on simply being open to connection?
I love that it's about shifting our mindset from performance to possibility.
Exactly.
It takes the pressure off of having to perform a certain way.
Yeah.
And allows us to just be more present and authentic in our interactions.
Because when we let go of that need to be perfect,
Yeah.
we create space for those genuine, messy, and ultimately beautiful connections to form.
Totally. And that reminds me of another key point from the report, the importance of embracing our inner weirdo.
Yes, it all comes back to authenticity.
Right.
Letting go of the need to fit in
Right.
and allowing ourselves to be seen for who we truly are, quirks and all.
Because let's be honest, none of us are perfectly polished. We all have those little oddities that make us unique. And it's in those imperfections that we often find the strongest bonds.
I agree with you 100%.
So to all our listeners out there who might be struggling to find their tribe,
Yeah.
remember this. Don't be afraid to let your true selves shine. Embrace those quirks, those passions, those things that make you you.
Beautifully said. And I think that's the perfect note to end on to our wonderful listeners. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of adult friendships. Remember, you are not alone in this journey, and there is a whole tribe out there waiting to connect with you just as you are.
Couldn't agree more. Thanks for joining us today. We'll catch you next time for another fascinating deep dive. Until then, happy friend making.